matters. Of course it does. Hi, I'm Debbie Moraes, your host and moderator. As we tell you, this long-running program has been created to educate, inform, and help you decide how to protect yourself, your family, and your business when dealing with law matters. A better understanding of the law puts you in a better position to decide how you want to handle issues. If you do decide to handle some issues yourself, our goal, of course, is to help you be the best prepared possible. If you decide to seek outside counsel, then our goal is to help you be the best prepared you can be and to save time and money. So today, holiday scams, or seasons cheatings, as they call it these days. In the U.S., $19 trillion is expected to be spent November and December of this year, with 63% of that being online. This is according to the National Retail Federation. And apparently the losses for 2023 are somewhere close to $48 billion. So while many of us are looking forward to the holidays, the time to gather with family and friends and share memories and gifts, make plans for the coming year, cyber criminals are also looking forward to the holidays as well. You're focused on merriment, they're focused on mayhem. So we thought this is the time of year, once again, when we wanted to handle this topic. It may seem somewhat familiar, but every year there are new schemes and they get better at them. AI, artificial intelligence, obviously it's a source of fraud that is posing an ever-increasing threat to us. So we'll talk about those. You know the stories about online gift cards, social media, gift exchange, charities, fake online websites. There's so many of them. We're going to see if we can cover a few and perhaps give you some ideas about how you might avoid some of the problems. And if you are a victim, what should you do about them? So I think one place we would want to start is with AI, knowing that they're so good. Every consumer should certainly be on alert, not just for holiday shopping, but any kind of shopping. The technology as it is right now makes it so easy to impersonate everyone, impersonate your likeness. So your voice passwords, they might have seemed like a very secure thing. You might want to find that they're a source of being a way you might be compromised. So you might, in fact, want to go through that multi-factor identification, have them send you a code to your text or your email so that you have yet another layer of security. And even at that, nothing is foolproof. So David, let's start with the most common things. People are shopping online. That means there are threats with the package delivery scams, mispackaged. What do you do to avoid, what is it and how do you avoid it?
Well, as you talked about, there are a lot of new scams, but there are certainly a lot of the old ones and certainly some of just the old-fashioned threats of people stealing things. So you have packages delivered to your house, and now that there's Ring video and all of those other camera surveillance types of things, you can see a lot of times people just walking up to the porch and stealing the packages off the porch. Some of the old ways of avoiding some of those things are, if possible, requiring signatures in order to have packages delivered so they're not just left there. Of course, if you have Ring and the ability to see who comes and who takes things and have that evidence to be able to help prosecute these types of things, it's helpful, but it doesn't help you in receiving the package that you either ordered for yourself or as a gift and being able to get it and have it available to you or to be able to give to someone if that was the intention.
What do you do if you are expecting a package and perhaps there were the porch poachers, I think they call them.
Or porch pirates.
Pirates. What do you do if that's happened? You knew it was supposed to be coming on Tuesday at 3 o'clock and you're home and it's not there.
Yeah, so a lot of times when you order something, you can order it with a tracking ability. And so you could go on and log in and follow where the package is and where it's being delivered. I've had clients who have contacted me where things have been shipped through different sources. One of the problems was a package that was being delivered through a UPS store, not UPS, but the drop-off and pickups were at a UPS store. And there was a problem at that store. There was someone stealing packages from the store. And so it becomes, is that insurable? as a shipping problem or is it a theft problem? And so sometimes these things aren't as clear-cut as you would think or hope, but certainly insuring packages, they're of high value, and following along the tracking as you are able to do that these days.
So what happened? Was there an outcome that was positive, perhaps?
Still under investigation. If it was a theft from the store, it may not be a shipping issue. It may be covered under the corporate insurance that is available to cover inventory because it was still part of their inventory.
Good to know. So you mentioned the tracking issue. You buy something, you can be issued a tracking code. Not surprisingly, and I think we've spoken about this every year for several years, the most popular, most prevalent scam is the phishing scam. And that happens often with tracking. So explain phishing and how that happens with the tracking problem, what you should do about it.
Yeah, and so phishing generally may refer to emails or things that are sent to you that look like they're being sent from a legitimate source, because the old days, a few years ago, they were able to mimic and copy all of the logos and other things that would make the source seem familiar to you, whether it was a store that you may have ordered something from. We used to get these from banks as well, whether they mimic Bank of America. But when you looked at the actual email address, if you followed it through, it wasn't from Bank of America or a trusted store. It was from some email that had nothing to do with it. And so when it came to you, they would expect you to click into it, and that would be an ability for them to get all of your information, perhaps. And so with the tracking, it's the same thing. It looks like it was the tracking thing, but it's not. So you're now clicking in, and they want you to give your information, which you should never do.
In fact, when you are interested in tracking and you had been given a tracking number, in fact, the better thing to do is go to that original site, go through tracking yourself rather than clicking on any link. In fact, not surprisingly, every bit of research that I did in preparation for this, every single source from police departments to the FDIC all said, be careful, do not click on a link. If you know you bought something, you go to that place.
Right.
Initiate it. Go to the place of origin rather than click on anything, which of course brings up that issue about AI, because now it's easier than ever and better than ever to duplicate, make it look like it is absolutely the authentic site when it's not.
That's right. And so that's always been our advice. We've always said, don't click into the email, go back to the site you ordered it from and follow it through there. And if there's an issue with your bank, for example, go either to the bank or to the bank's website yourself. And that's the best way to secure yourself. And as you said with AI, not only can underhanded people, criminals, use AI to create a much better phishing expedition, they also can use it for other scams. And the scams that we've always had now also can be enhanced, such as the call that you would get from your, or the email from your relative. In London and my wallet was stolen, send me money. They can use AI, perhaps, if they're close enough and have the ability to get it, to create the sound and voice of the person that they're saying that they are, and use that. Now it's an even more enhanced, oh my God, that's my cousin, my whatever, my grandchild, and it sounds just like them, but it isn't.
Across the country, this is going on, and everyone who has reported said they can't believe how certain they were that it was that person's voice, someone saying, Mom. Now you would understand that that's certainly an identifiable voice. And they are able to scrape, that's what they call scraping, and getting some sound of your voice and replicating it so that it sounds like you are pleading for help, so please send money or gift cards. That's the hardest one to believe that anyone. Here's the greatest tip we could simply offer. Pay attention and don't ever, ever try to pay for something, whether it was your IRS tax bill or something that you needed to buy with a gift card of any kind.
The big scheme before was utilities. And yep, your electric bill is overdue, your electricity is going to be turned off. You have to pay it right away. How are you going to pay it? Go to CVS and buy gift cards. And how embarrassing is it when the 15-year-old person working at the cashier register is this to pay your utility bill? Yeah, it's a scam. Oh, yeah, I think I should have known that.
So while we think, for the number of times that we've spoken of this, that most people should be aware of it, it's very easy still to be duped, and many people are. And even if you are, especially now, if you are very busy, you're likely to be caught off guard. You knew that an email was coming. You knew that a text was coming relative to something you bought or you were inquiring. So you quickly, thoughtlessly, oh, sure, and click on it, and you can be in trouble. And that's, of course, the very thing that the scammers are hoping for. They don't need many opportunities. They just need a few that catch those unaware.
It's an easy trap to fall into, and that's what they're hoping you do. And if you get hundreds of emails a day and you're just trying to go through them, and boom, you accidentally click into the wrong one, you can only hope that nothing is getting planted into your system, your computer.
So if you receive the call that says, Dad, you have to send me money, gift card, or whatever, what should you do?
Pick up the phone and call, is it your son or daughter? And say, what's going on? And just reach out directly. Just like we say, reach out to the company through the internet, the website directly, rather than clicking on an email, call and pick up the phone and reach out to your child directly.
So now, as it has become even more likely that someone's going to say someone has been abducted, and if you hang up, they will be killed. Some people, not just seniors, although they also fall prey, what do you do when you are fearful? And that's the ploy.
Right.
What do you do if you hang up?
Well, yes, probably, but what's going to happen is there's going to be the concern that it's real. I would suggest that before you hang up, if that's a real concern of yours, get as much information as you can. Tell me, what are you talking about? Where are you? Where did this happen? Because if you know your child is assuming you're saying it's a child, if your child is in Providence and they're telling you, well, we're in California, then you can feel more comfortable hanging up. Don't give information, get information.
One savvy senior, when this happened, said to the caller, Mike? And of course, the voice said, yes, there's no such person as Mike.
Right.
And that was their quick tip-off that it was a scam, and it put an end to the person's fear.
Right.
I mean, not always is it that simple a way to get that confirmation, but if you have that as ability, and if you think ahead of time, maybe you can avoid that problem at least.
What did they used to have, the safe word or something?
Yes.
Yeah, some password or safe word to say, it is Sonia with you, and there's no Sonia.
Good thing to think about. So social media is helpful to many people, a great way for many to communicate, also fraught. So many people are looking at social media scams right now. There are surveys, sometimes things that are tied prize offerings. If you fill out this form, if you click like or share this or that, you're going to have a discount, you're going to have a prize, you're going to have some promise of something that's wonderful. How would you suggest people not fall victim to this particular scam? Who doesn't want to get something for free?
Yeah, and what is it we always say? If it's too good to be true, it's probably not true. I would research anything before I clicked on anything. So is there anything out there about, and a lot of times, you can put it in and they'll say, that's a scam. You can find that out. But if it's too good to be true, it's usually not true.
Many of the social media sites, when you're looking through your feed and reading information about your friends and your aunts and uncles, there'll be ads that are placed there, sponsored. And it looks like you could get that hot toy for 60% off. Sounds like a great idea. Maybe. maybe not. What should you do in that case?
Yeah, so if it's from a website or a company, again, what I would start to do is go to the company and ask, are you offering this? I saw this, was this a legitimate ad from you? And then follow through that way.
And if the company might seem that it's a legitimate website, because again, thanks to AI, those could be generated in probably about 5 minutes and look very, very authentic and not be, it's also a good idea to Google it, as they say, and see, for example, there's the company's name, put the company's name back in and put complaints, reviews, suspicious activities, and that will also yield some results that you might want to look at before you click, go to the e-commerce site and sacrifice your credit cards, as people will do. Sometimes people get sent gifts unexpectedly. Maybe you knew that your aunt was going to send you something, but something came in the mail that you didn't order, you didn't buy online. It's kind of lightweight, but it's just a nice little gift. And it says, Happy Holidays. All you need to do is just write a review about that. Does that sound like that would be harmful?
Yeah, that sounds like it's going to be very potentially dangerous.
So what would you do? Would you open it, not send a review? What would you do?
Well, I think if something's been sent to you, if you're not suspicious that it's got some kind of dangerous material in it, you could open it. But I never would write a review. I would never do anything online. I don't know, unless, again, it was really some kind of toxic material that there's a danger to opening something.
So part of the scam ends up being that many are sent these cheap tchotchke kinds of things, and they're looking just for someone to go online and say, this was a pretty nice little gift, even if it didn't say Happy Holidays from your Uncle George. But part of the online issue is that they'll always want a tracking number in order for you to post that review. But if you do that, then it ends up generating what it becomes a legitimate tracking number that then can become an opportunity for someone to go after your account information for you having gone online in the first place.
Yeah.
So something as simple as a nice gift, a tiny gift, could become fraught.
And my point is, you can open it up if it's a little tchotchke or a gift, fine. But don't go online under any circumstances to write a review or do anything that you've been invited to do, because that invitation is the scam.
Right. So once you have become, you've created an online account to make that review or whatever else, therein lies the problem, because some can hack.
It's not that much different than the emails that lawyers get, for example, that say, I'm buying a backhoe in your state and I need to escrow the money. Can I send you money to put into your account? And of course, you say, oh, you want to put money in my account? That's fine. How can that be a problem? Because what they do is, by the time the money that went into your account is not really in your account, they've taken out all the other money that was in your account.
How did they get to do that, David?
So if it's wired in, they have the instructions, the ability then to wire it back out, and the wire in is maybe a fraud so that nothing's going in, but everything else is coming out.
Good to know. And apparently that's happening in quite a few different guises too, where someone will be saying, we just need to have it sit there just for a couple of days for whatever unimaginable or imaginable reason. And once it ends up going into yours, out it comes. It's not just lawyers, but others as well. So many people shop, I shouldn't say Amazon, but yes, Amazon. And there are what's referred to as the third-party retailers. And some are fine and some are not. How do you know, and what should you do?
So if you're going through the Amazon website, for example, it would be my understanding that Amazon vets those people that they allow to be vendors or suppliers of theirs. And so I think that it would be something you could be comfortable with. And of course, you're going to then be able to write a legitimate review if it's good, bad, or otherwise. And you should always review the reviews. before you buy through something that's posted. Like, I know eBay does that as well, because eBay is all outside vendors that are allowed by eBay to be on their website, and they're all reviewed. So look at the reviews and see how that each vendor is on following through with what they say they're going to do.
Good point. And apparently one of the ploys that they have these days is, if you've seen on Amazon that has a variety of prices or a range of prices, there's either a serious discount, which is, to your point, if it looks too good to be true, beware,
Yep.
or it could be something as minor as 5 cents less than the other guys, in which case they figure that's a nice ploy because someone would likely click on, say, 5 cents. I can't imagine why that would make a difference, but apparently that is one known ploy that seems to garner more clicks, and sometimes the clicks themselves are problems. Mm-hmm. And now when it comes to payments, people have credit cards, they have debit cards, they write checks. What's considered to be the safest way of handling payments when it's online?
So I always like to use a credit card where you can dispute a charge if necessary, and your credit card company will go to bat for you. Debit cards to me are the worst, because that is now money from your account that if they can then just use and clean out the account, there's not as much recourse against that. I don't know as much about the other PayPal, Apple Pay, and those type of things.
So the worst, apart from the debit card, is the cash cards that are Zelle and Cash App, because there's no way for anyone to back those up.
Yep.
Debit cards, to your point, yes, they can clear those right out. Apparently, when it comes to something like Apple Pay, there is a transaction number that's given, but it never gives that vendor your actual bank account. It's a different number. So there is a layer of security there, but when it comes to Zelle, Cash App, and there are numerous others that I couldn't enumerate.
Is PayPal one of those?
PayPal is safe. They
Yep,
said
okay.
PayPal is safe, but you need to be very careful with the Cash Apps, and so many do end up using that these days
Yep.
as a quick way to transfer money.
So my advice, and this is just me because you know I'm old-fashioned, is I use the old-fashioned credit card that I pay off every month.
Yes, good to know. Charities. Everyone likes to be charitable, especially during the holidays. So, not surprisingly, bad actors who are selling things will say a portion of the sale is going to be going to thus and such, a charity that you're not familiar with. But wouldn't you just want to give 10% of whatever that is? Apparently that's becoming something that is popular and something that makes people say, well, it's still, I'm going to be paying the same price, but I'll be having 10% that'll go to a charity. They say be careful of that. Go to that website, check out that particular charity, see if it makes sense. Most people, when they want to give to charities, and as you've said before, how do you plan for your charitable giving? It's not that someone is soliciting you daily online, I assume.
No, I do it proactively. I reach out to the charities I want to give to, and I contact them, and I give, and a lot of people give money at the end of the year because of tax purposes and tax deductions, but reach out proactively. As you say, Google it, that's your thing, and get the information, and you give it. I don't give, when someone calls me and says, do you want to give to the Firefighters Benevolent Ball Society? No, I do my charitable giving differently. I give to those that I want to give to, and well, can we send you information? No, I'll Google you. I'll see, I'll reach out, I'll get the information. So I like to be the one who's initiating the investigation and the review.
And as we say, we like to save people time and money and make it simple, but if people are getting emails, even actually traditional snail mail, that seems to make things so much easier for you to donate, you should be wary, because even traditional snail mail is being used to scam people these days. And again, those logos are duplicated on that masthead to make it look like it's absolutely the legitimate source that you would hope to give to, and it wasn't.
Absolutely.
So when people are scammed, you said if it's scammed by credit card, you can call your credit card company. So what happens if you are scammed? It shows up in your bank account that you bought something at using Capital One, but you didn't use Capital One. Call Capital One. Capital One doesn't have a record of it. Is it at your bank?
You got to go to the bank next to have them investigate what that's all about and try to reverse it.
And if they can't, is there value in going to, how do you escalate it? FBI? At times they say you can go call
Right.
the FBI or the Department of Business Regulation.
Well, starting with what type of crime it is. If it's something through the internet, the FBI does have, I think it's called the Internet Complaint. It's like 3 C's, Complaint Center, whatever. And you can initiate complaints of internet fraud and crime through the FBI website. Again, I would go to the FBI website. I wouldn't do like the old click here and see where you end up, but go to the FBI website, put in internet crimes, and I think there's a complaint center. I don't know what the third C is.
There's another one through the FTC, apparently. I wonder, I don't know, I haven't had the experience of filing a complaint through the FTC or much less the FBI when they open in a new tab, here's a scam. But it's suggested that you should try your best to report the fraud as quickly as you find out about it. And when it comes to cryptocurrency, people are still interested in buying. Some people got in early, did make money. We know that there are things that were valid. But it was interesting to find out that many have been trying to offer cryptocurrencies through phishing scams, emails, etc. Click here, buy here, go to this website. Interestingly enough, law enforcement says that they cannot help you if it's through crypto.
Yeah, and I think perhaps a lot of the reason for that is because it's offshore. And jurisdictionally, there might not be the ability to enforce the fraudulent transaction that didn't happen in the United States.
And they also say that they can't help with anything that is AI generated these days, and much is. We've always said hover over that URL and hope that you find that there is a typo in it, but there are many, because they're so good now, that apparently are
Hard to detect.
harder to detect.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of issues with that, and I know there's going to be at some point in time some proposed legislation to give some criminal teeth to some of what is being done.
It's definitely season buyer beware. We hope you have a happy holiday season. Stay alert and stay tuned to The Law Matters. As we say, it matters to you. Thank you for tuning in.